The battlefield is shifting, and the global arms race is accelerating faster than ever. With talks between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky breaking down, NATO is scrambling to rearm, defense industries are in overdrive, and private military forces are stepping into the fight. But what does this mean for global security and for the future of warfare? The situation has created significant opportunities for European defense contractors. With the U.S. potentially scaling back military aid, European nations are stepping in, boosting demand for advanced weaponry. Companies like Rheinmetall, BAE Systems, Thales, and Saab are seeing increased orders for tanks, missile defense systems, fighter jets, and advanced artillery. Governments across Europe are raising military budgets to exceed NATO's 2% GDP target, aiming for greater defense autonomy and reducing reliance on U.S. aid. This shift is transforming Europe's defense industry into a more self-sufficient powerhouse. Germany's Rheinmetall, one of the continent's largest arms manufacturers, has seen heightened interest in its Leopard 2 battle tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and self-propelled howitzers. With Eastern European nations expanding their arsenals, Rheinmetall is scaling up production to meet growing orders. Similarly, BAE Systems in the UK is seeing increased demand for Challenger 3 tanks, naval vessels, and guided missile systems, particularly from Poland and the Baltic states, which are reinforcing their defenses. France's Thales is benefiting from the rising demand for air defense and radar systems, including its Groundmaster radar and Starstreak missile platforms. As nations work to counter drone and missile threats, Thales' expertise in cybersecurity and missile guidance is making it a key player in European defense strategies. Saab, known for its Gripen fighter jets and NLAW anti-tank systems, is also seeing growing interest as European nations seek alternatives to U.S.-made F-35s for Air Force modernization. European leaders are pushing for self-sufficiency in weapons production, streamlining defense procurement, and increasing funding for research and development. This shift is accelerating Europe's transition into a more autonomous military force, capable of sustaining its own defense production. As a result of these shifting defense priorities, European defense manufacturers are rapidly increasing production and investment in new technologies. Governments across the continent are boosting military budgets, with many pledging to reach or exceed NATO's 2% GDP defense spending target. This reallocation of resources is transforming Europe's defense industry, making it less dependent on U.S. military aid and strengthening its role in the global arms market. The collapse of U.S.-Ukraine talks has created a cloud of uncertainty for major American defense firms like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman, which have supplied billions in missile systems, artillery, and air defense platforms. Trump's potential policy shift could jeopardize existing contracts for Ukraine-related military aid, forcing companies to redirect exports to NATO allies. If military aid is scaled back, European nations such as Poland, Germany, and the UK are likely to increase purchases of Patriot missile systems, HIMARS rocket launchers, and F-35 jets to compensate. However, a reduction in U.S. government contracts could impact production levels for Javelin anti-tank missiles, NASAMS air defense systems, and other critical weapons developed specifically for Ukraine's defense. Despite potential losses in European sales, the Pentagon may reallocate defense spending toward the Indo-Pacific, increasing investment in naval capabilities, long-range missile systems, and stealth aircraft to counter China's military spending. The war in Ukraine has proven the need for air defense, precision missile systems, and counter-drone technology, with European nations rapidly expanding their arsenals. Orders for Patriot missile systems, NASAMS, and HIMARS have surged as countries prepare for future conflicts. Anti-drone weapons and laser defense systems are also in high demand, with firms like Rheinmetall and Rafael Advanced Defense Systems leading innovation. European nations are prioritizing cutting-edge air and missile defense technologies amid growing concerns over Russian aggression. One of the most sought-after systems is the Patriot missile defense system, developed by Raytheon Technologies. Widely regarded as one of the most effective tools against Russian missile attacks, the system has already been deployed in Ukraine with significant success. However, as European countries anticipate the need to defend their own airspace, orders for Patriot systems are increasing. Countries like Germany, Poland, and Romania have already placed additional orders, and nations across Eastern Europe are looking to secure more units as a precautionary measure. With the collapse of U.S.-Ukraine talks and the uncertainty surrounding future American support, European nations are taking air and missile defense into their own hands, leading to unprecedented demand for cutting-edge technology. This shift is not only driving record orders for missile and drone defense systems, but is also accelerating military research and development, ensuring that NATO allies remain prepared for any potential escalation in the region. The uncertainty of U.S. support has prompted NATO members to pursue self-reliant defense strategies. The EU is streamlining military procurement and supporting domestic arms manufacturers. The Future Combat Air System, FCAS project, led by France, Germany, and Spain, aims to provide a European alternative to the U.S. F-35 fighter jet. The U.K. is investing in warships and missile development, while Poland has significantly expanded its tank and artillery forces. Smaller defense firms specializing in AI warfare, drones, and cyber defense are also benefiting from this shift. With traditional U.S. aid in question, Ukraine and other nations may rely more on private military contractors, PMCs, such as academy and European security firms for battlefield logistics and training. Alternative suppliers like Turkey and South Korea are expanding their defense exports, with Poland purchasing K2 Black Panther tanks and K9 howitzers from South Korea. Private sector investments in AI-driven drones and cyber warfare tools are rising, providing lower-cost, high-tech solutions for modern warfare. Another consequence of shifting U.S. policy is the rise of private sector innovation in military technology. Startups and tech firms specializing in autonomous drones, AI-powered battlefield analytics, and cyber warfare tools are attracting more government and private investment. Nations that may not have access to traditional U.S. military aid could instead focus on low-cost, high-tech alternatives such as AI-driven drone swarms and cyber defense platforms capable of disrupting enemy operations without direct troop involvement. Despite rising demand, the defense industry faces supply chain constraints, raw material shortages, and skilled labor deficits. Semiconductor shortages impact missile guidance systems and electronic warfare tools, slowing production of NASAMS and Patriot systems. Ammunition depletion, especially for 155mm shells and HIMARS rockets, remains critical, with European defense ministries scrambling to replenish stockpiles. Workforce shortages are delaying production, forcing companies to offer higher wages and retraining programs. Logistical challenges, such as delays in transporting tanks and artillery, further complicate military readiness. To counter these issues, NATO is expanding joint procurement initiatives and partnerships with South Korea and India, while European governments push for faster regulatory approvals to expedite weapons development. However, overcoming production bottlenecks will take time, leaving the defense industry struggling to keep pace with escalating geopolitical tensions. Despite these efforts, the combination of semiconductor shortages, ammunition depletion, labor constraints, and logistical obstacles means that scaling up military production will be a slow and complex process. As geopolitical tensions rise and nations push for rapid rearmament, the defense industry faces a daunting challenge: how to sustain high levels of output while navigating a fragile and overburdened global supply chain. The world is changing, and the next arms race is already underway, with shifting alliances, rising defense budgets, and new weapons reshaping the battlefield. The stakes have never been higher. What do you think? Are we heading toward a more secure world, or are we on the brink of something much bigger? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button to support the channel and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into global conflicts, military tech, and the power struggles shaping our future. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay informed, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.